Hi, I'm Leah. Welcome to my podcast, China Liao Talks. In this podcast, I share honest and down-to-earth stories about life in China, covering everything from culture and work to language learning, all based on real experiences. Let's dive in. 大家好, today's guest is Matt from the US. He's currently based in Chongqing, China, and has been living there for 14 years. Today, I'm going to ask him about how he first encountered China and what his life is like in Chongqing. Matt, can you give a quick introduction, please?
Yes, hello, 大家好，我叫 Matt， 我来自美国田纳西州。我在09年的时候去了重庆读大学，然后一直留下来了，基本上。然后疫情的时候也去了一趟日本，很高兴认识大家。
谢谢。Well, you speak really good Chinese.
Thank you.
I could hear that you went to China for university at first.
Yes.
So that means, did you start from studying Chinese there, or did you first study Chinese in America and then moved?
Kind of both. The answer is yes to both.
Oh.
So in America, I learned like pinyin. So I learned, like a, i, u, e, o, like bo, po, mo, fo. And then I learned like ni hao and how to count to 10. And that was about it. And then when I was in China, it felt like I learned nothing because people spoke so fast, they spoke so differently. It was quite difficult. So the answer is yes, I studied before, but I didn't really study anything.
So you studied basic in America and then moved?
Yeah, but I didn't even know how to say, where is the bathroom or eat or anything. I just knew ni hao.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So what was your motivation for start studying Chinese back in the US? I'm very curious.
Yeah, so for me, it didn't start with China. It started with just simple languages. Oh. So I've always loved languages and learning foreign languages. I've always loved trying different types of food. When I was in high school, I really liked to go to this Vietnamese restaurant and this Korean restaurant, and I just thought it was so delicious. And I started to just think that other cultures are so interesting, and America has a lot of different cultures. So when I was in high school, we started learning Latin, and my teacher said that I was really good at Latin. I had a gift. And I thought, a gift in Latin? That's so weird, okay. And then the next year, we started learning Spanish. And I really enjoyed learning Spanish, and I was really good at it too. And so I thought to myself, maybe I have a talent in learning languages, because I was never good at anything. I was never good at math. I was never good at reading. I was never good at football, basketball, baseball. I didn't really have anything I was very good at until I started learning foreign languages. And so when I was in high school, I went to a Chinese restaurant to have some food. And the boss behind the counter, he asked me, would you like to learn Chinese? And I asked him, why would you ask me that? And he said, oh, I'm a Chinese teacher. And I was like, really? Wow. And so I just, from him asking me, thought about it for the first time in my life. And I thought, it would be really fun to go to China. I've never been to China. I've never thought about going to China. I like Chinese food, I think. I don't know. He taught me pinyin, and he taught me some numbers. And then he said, if you want to learn Chinese very well, you should just move to China. And I was like, oh, wow, move to China. Okay. And so I just did it.
Wow.
I didn't think about it too much, yeah.
Whoa, that's brave.
I think at the time I was so young, I just had faith that this is what I should do. And I just didn't doubt it. I just thought it was a good idea.
Oh.
And everything was super easy. Like the scholarship was easy, the education, like the admission things was easy. Everything was really easy. And yeah, I asked the school, like, could I please study at your school? And they said, yes, when will you come? I didn't even have to apply for anything specific. So yeah, it was really, I was the very first student in my university to ever study a Chinese degree as a foreigner from the West.
Wow.
So I was a pioneer, I guess you could say. Most people start learning Chinese in the past maybe 5 years, but I did it a long time ago on accident.
Wow, they might be really excited as well. I mean, the people from your school.
Yeah, they were very excited. But I'm sure, as you know, having experience in China, China is not a very organized country. And so I would say it wasn't mafan, right? It was fun. It was hawar.
Yes.
But it was crazy. Everything was crazy. Nothing was right.
Yes.
Nothing was ordered. No one knew what was going on. No one knew that I was a student. And then one person was like, I know he is a student. You know, it was crazy, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Chinese culture is pretty much like 随便.
Yeah. Extremely. Yeah.
And I like it too.
Yeah, me too. It's more fun because, you know, being in America it can be 随便 or very organized. But then Japan is only organized, no 随便. Maybe in Osaka we have some 随便, you know. But then in Chongqing it's only 随便. So I really enjoyed that.
That means if there's a thing that you want to try, you can do that.
Yes.
And then people will even encourage that to keep on pursuing on like what you want to do.
Right.
So it started from encounter with a Chinese teacher in a Chinese restaurant in your hometown.
Yes, yeah, weird, huh?
Ah. Yeah. Is he Chinese or
Yes.
American who speak fluent Chinese?
He's from Chengdu.
Oh.
Yeah, he immigrated to America in the I think the early 1980s.
I see.
So he's been American for a long time now, but he's originally from China, and you know he immigrated to America. But yeah, he was the only Chinese teacher in my whole state. Yeah, back then, because back then no one cared about Chinese. Now everyone wants to learn Chinese, but before no one was learning Chinese.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I also had an image that American people study Latin language as their second or third language.
Yeah, Latin is not very common. It's mostly Spanish, German, English, French, and Japanese, actually.
Japanese as well.
Yes, because of anime and like Miyazaki and all those things.
Wow. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. I had the chance to learn Japanese, but I was like, I'll never need it. I don't want to.
And then you ended up coming to
And then I moved to Japan.
long time after. So you decided to move to China for university, and you did. And then, so right after you graduated from high school, so you moved to China, right?
Yes, that's true.
I am very curious about your first culture shock after you moved to China. Is there any stories that you remember?
Yes, I have a funny story. So my first day in China, I ended up living with the Chinese man. His name is Mr. Li, like Li Laoshi. So I lived with Li Laoshi's family in Chongqing because his uncle is from Chongqing. I thought I was living with the family, but it turned out I would be living with a 82-year-old grandma. So I called her Waipo. And Waipo didn't speak any English. He only spoke Chongqinghua, and I only spoke English. And so we lived together for almost 1 month. And we could not talk. She would talk to me, and I would talk to her. We would just laugh and just walk away. We didn't know what was happening. It was really fun. I think Waipo heard on the news that Americans love to drink milk. And I am lactose intolerant, so I can't drink milk. I'm like allergic to milk. And so when I got there, they were like, "Oh, we bought you, you know," because you know, in milk in China, it's not in the refrigerator; it's just in little packets.
Yes.
And you can buy it and leave it outside.
Yes.
I think they bought me like 50 of them, very small. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh no, what do I do?" And so, you know, this is my first culture shock of Chinese people being way too generous.
Yes.
And very caring in a good way, but also a bad way. So for 1 month, as I would, you know, live there, I slowly, as we would, you know, they would say, wake up, and they would tell me to wake up, and I would walk outside, and they would say, we're gonna have breakfast. We would go outside, and in Chongqing, a very famous breakfast is called xiaomian, and so we had xiaomian for breakfast all the time. And as we would walk down the street to the xiaomian place, I would squeeze out the milk into the grass, just like slowly. I would just like as they were, you know, in front of me, they didn't see. And so I did that for about a month. Every day I would squeeze a little milk because I couldn't tell them that I was allergic, but not because I didn't want to, because I didn't speak Chinese, so I couldn't say anything. Yeah. So that's my funny story.
I see. Yeah. I understand that the Chinese people are very generous and very caring.
They are. It's very true.
So probably your teachers or your school friends helped you a lot as well, right?
In the beginning, kind of. I had one friend I actually met on the internet. His name is Nicky. He's still one of my best friends today. We've known each other for, I don't know, 17, 18 years now.
Wow.
It's been a long time. Yeah. We met on a website called CQ Expat. And before, because when I moved to China, there was no WeChat. And so there was no way for me to meet people or to hang out with people other than using the internet. So I just got on the internet and I looked up Chongqing, China, and then I found a website, and you can meet friends on the website and people who lived in Chongqing. So I would ask questions and I would talk to people, and this guy named Nicky, he messaged me and he said, I think we're the only people on this website under 20 years old, because everyone else was old. Because, in Chongqing, almost 18 years ago, no one moved to China, to Chongqing. Only old business people. And so he was like, I want to be friends with you. And so he helped me a lot. But other than him, when he was in school, he couldn't help me. And so a lot of times I had to do things by myself. And that's one reason why I think I am good at speaking Chinese, because I really had to rely on myself a lot in the very beginning. People would help me do things, but I didn't understand what they were doing to help me. It was very confusing.
Especially the language barrier.
Yes, exactly.
And then it took a while to understand what they are talking about, right?
Right.
Especially with the heavy Chongqing accent.
Yes. Have you been to Chongqing?
Not yet, but Chongqing is one of the cities I really want to go.
Oh, please come,
it's on my bucket. Yes.
I know some Japanese people that live in Chongqing.
I'll visit you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Do you like spicy food?
Actually, no.
Okay, then ganbare.
That's the only thing I worry about.
Yes.
Because I can barely eat the spicy food, but in Chongqing they only have spicy foods, right?
Yes.
I really want to stay there for a couple of days, then how I can survive if I cannot eat any spicy foods. That's the thing.
I can help you.
Chongqing is actually getting popular for the Japanese people for the sightseeing spot in China.
Oh, really?
And many Japanese YouTubers started introducing the city as well.
Oh, great.
So do you also understand Chongqing?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
I don't have many foreign friends in Chongqing, mainly just Chinese friends. So I'm pretty immersed. I'm very local, I would say, in my friend group.
Not many foreigners, right, in Chongqing?
No, not many. And if there are some, but they only stay for like 6 months, 1 year, and they leave. But yeah, someone who's been there as long as me, I don't know anyone who's been there as long as I have.
Really?
And that's a foreigner. There have been people that have lived there a long time, but they left maybe a year or two before COVID. But COVID, as you know, it destroyed the entire foreign community in China.
Yeah.
Everyone is brand new, usually.
Yeah.
Or they only got to China right as COVID happened. And so they don't have many years of experience yet.
Yeah, that was a tough experience for those who lived in China.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know a lot of Japanese people who moved back to Japan because of COVID as well.
Yeah, it's very sad. But I'm glad that it's coming back now and people are moving back, or there are new people that are going, and the flights, they're pretty cheap now, which is good news.
Yeah. I can tell that China is trying to invite more foreign tourists nowadays.
Yes.
And I'm also interested in your decision that you decided to study there for university, and then after that you decided to stay there, right?
Yes.
When you first moved to China, did you have any idea that if you want to stay there or not? Or what was your original plan?
Yeah, good question. I would say it was kind of like a feather in the wind. So sometimes I was like, yes, I'll stay here forever. And then I was like, no, I'll go back home. Oh, yes, I will stay. No, I will go. Yes, I will stay. No, I will go. And so I would say when I first moved there, my first idea was no one else is learning Chinese. Only I am learning Chinese. Everyone in America doesn't seem very interested in China, but China is growing so much and they want to be number one. And they say America number one, but they want to be number one. They don't want to be number 5, And so I think if I live here and then go back to America, I can make a lot of money. So that was my original plan. But then after I lived there for maybe 2 years, I just fell in love with the people and the culture and the city of Chongqing, and I started to realize that my own culture in my heart started to change and be more like Chinese people than more like American, because when I moved there when I was 18, so all of my experience as an adult have only been in China, but all of my experience as a child was in America. So I felt like the lessons that I learned that you learn as a child, I learned them in China. So I kind of felt like I grew up in China and I fell in love with it like it was my second hometown.
Oh.
So I didn't want to leave my hometown.
Oh. So you said that you like the people there and then culture there. Like for example, like what do you like about, their people and the culture?
Well, I think that Chinese people are very generous, like we talked about before. Sometimes it can be a little bit strange in how generous they are. But also, I think that they really want to connect and be friends with people. They love to go out to eat. I just really enjoyed how fun it was. Just like everything, people want to have fun. They want to have a good time. They want to go karaoke. They want to have barbecue. They want to have hot pot. It's 10 o'clock at night and I'm sleeping. And my friend calls me, "Hey, where are you? I'm at your door. We're going to eat dinner." I was like, "What? I'm going to sleep." He goes, "No, come outside. And so I just really loved the last minute, like, 随便 of the culture, there's always something to war, right? There's always something to do and have fun with. And I really love that about the people. And yeah, I think that like Chongqing is known for being a very spicy place. And I think spicy isn't always bad, right? Like if you like spicy, it's really good. And so that's what I learned about the people there is that maybe it's difficult to learn how to love them at first because they're so different than you, but eventually you start to love it and you want to be around them and you want to learn how to be spicy too. So that's what I would think I would say.
Culture-wise, what do you like about China?
Other than people, let's see. I mean, the food, of course, is amazing. I think that's a big part. About Chongqing specifically, I really appreciate how united they are as a people. They're very proud to be from Chongqing. It reminds me similar of a little bit how people from Osaka are proud to be from Osaka. They're like, no, not Tokyo, Osaka #1, And I feel like that's how people think about Chongqing. They're like, oh, no, not Beijing, Chongqing #1, And so I appreciate their love for their place and their food and their culture. And I think that, I don't know. I wasn't the kind of person that liked Chinese culture before I moved to China. I learned all about it once I was there. So I didn't grow up fantasizing about wearing Chinese clothes or eating Chinese food or eating dumplings, and I never thought about it, ever. And so I really fell in love with what I experienced. And so everything was just so new. I mean, everything was new and it was just really, really fun.
Yeah, China has a very rich history.
It does. 5,000 years, as everyone will tell you.
Yes. So which cities have you traveled within China before?
Oh, I've been to so many cities. Let's see. My very first city outside of Chongqing was, I think, Chengdu.
Chengdu
was the first. Yeah. And then many small cities in Sichuan, small cities in Chongqing, and then Kunming and Yunnan, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Xi'an, I don't know, so many places. Wuhan.
Oh.
Yeah. I've never been to Xinjiang or Xizang or Fuzhou. I want to go to those places. So like the west, the super west, like the big west area, or Neimenggu. I've never been there. But yeah, or like Jinan or like near Korea. I've never been there. Or Dalian, but yeah. So there's some places I've never been, but mainly because I just never met anybody from there. Because usually, in China, you travel a lot. If you meet somebody and they'll say, "Come to my hometown" or "Come to my house," and they invite you to go to their home, and so you go there. And so there's just not that many people from those places in Chongqing. So I never had to go there before.
So your schoolmates from the university, are there lots of people coming from other cities, or most of them are locals?
So because my major was Chinese, all of my schoolmates were foreigners.
Yes.
Yes. So I had Korean classmates, Japanese, only one, but he left after a few years. He didn't finish. And then he was a very old man. I don't know why he was learning Chinese. His Chinese was horrible. No one understood what he said. It was so funny. And then some French and from Kazakhstan. Yeah, but we did go to classes with Chinese people, but at the end, you don't in Chinese, the education, it's only about talking. You don't actually get to talk to people. You don't really learn much. You just listen to the teacher talk, and then you self-study yourself. And so we told the teacher, like, us going to Chinese classes, it's not very helpful. We would like for you to teach us, because if you teach us, it's one-on-one versus 1 to 300, Yeah, because Chinese classes are too big.
Yes. I also know a lot of foreign students studying Chinese in university in China.
Yes.
Many people said to me that even though I'm in China, it's very difficult to get connected with the local people there, because all of my classmates are foreigners. So I have lots of foreign friends, but how I can make the local friends, I don't know. That's many people say. So how about you?
Okay. Well, I think that the way that I see it is opportunity comes to those who look for it. If you want to find a Chinese friend, you just got to look for them. Like for me, I found the friend online, and then I would hear about English corners and different events, and I didn't want to go, but I went to make friends. So you have to be uncomfortable to find somebody, I think. And so, or I would be eating noodles on the street, and I would see somebody who looked my age, maybe they were in college, and I would just talk to them. I'd be like, hey, 你好, 你是这里的学生吗? Like,对, and I'd just be, 你有微信吗? And I just, I would add their WeChat, ask them their name, and we would become friends. And sometimes we wouldn't become friends, but sometimes we would. And also, I always would only be friends with the foreigners that spoke bad English. I wouldn't be friends with the one who spoke good English. So we would have to talk in Chinese. And usually the ones that spoke bad English, good Chinese, they always had Chinese friends. So that's how I made friends. I just tried, I guess. I don't know. I think it can be difficult in certain cities, but I think if you really try, if you really, really try, it's not that difficult.
I totally agree with you. And I did the same when I used to live in Shanghai, because I stayed there for work, and I was working for a Japanese company, and all of my coworkers are Japanese.
Yes.
So within my work, I don't really have a chance to get connected to the local people. Except some admin people. The local people, but outside the company, because it's China, tons of Chinese people, so I always try to talk to any people, like even a staff at Starbucks. Especially those kind of people love to talk to, especially to the foreigners.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can find friends anywhere, at Starbucks. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Local noodle shop.
Yeah, noodle shop. Interestingly enough, I was on a bus once, and this deaf girl, like, so she couldn't hear, she came up to me, and her friend was her interpreter, and her friend asked me, she would like to talk to a foreigner, she's never met one before, and I said, oh yeah, sure, and I said, actually, I would love to learn sign language. Would you teach me? And so I learned sign language from her and became her friend. And I made so many friends from that, all deaf friends. So we learned sign language together and we would talk to each other. And it was so much fun. And so sometimes you have to learn something to be somebody's friend, but I thought it was fun.
Now you have local friends as well as you used to have foreign friends back in school. I would like to ask you that what other misconceptions that the foreigners tend to have towards China and the Chinese people? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that a lot of people think that Chinese people are very rude because maybe their actions and how loud they speak. And I think also so where I'm from in America, we have no Chinese people. No one goes there. And we don't have tourism. So no one goes to our city for tourism that's Chinese. Because of that, I didn't ever know the stereotypes about Chinese people. When you go to Japan and you see Chinese people everywhere, you see that they're loud and they don't line up and they spit and they throw trash. And you think, oh wow, they're just such uncivilized people. If you see it every single day, you see, oh wow, the same people. But when you go to China, you realize that that's only some people, not everyone is like that. And it's usually the older people that came from a different part of history. And so I think that if you're from a country that has a lot of Chinese tourism, you might have a negative kind of stereotype about China. But I mean, at least for me, I didn't know anything about Chinese people. I just thought that they liked kung fu, they could fight. And I thought they like spicy food. I didn't really know much myself, but my classmates, I mean, I think most people were most taken aback by how loud people were. Even for me today, I have to get used to that. Because after, being back in America now, and I'm going to go back to Japan, and then I'm going to go to China, America is like, 50% loud. Japan is like, 5% loud. And then China is like 90%. And so it's so different. Because after you live in China for a long time, it starts to get quiet. You get used to it. But at first, it's like, oh my gosh, there's bus. Oh, there's that. Oh, watch out. Wow. It's really crazy.
Yeah. I always think the same. After staying in China for a while and then come back to Japan, and first impression that I have is, very quiet here. And then, toilet is very quick.
Oh, yes. That's my favorite thing about Japan is the toilet. The toilet and the sushi, my favorite.
The Japanese people have a similar impression toward the Chinese people, but more and more people started to understand those who do such a behavior is only a small amount of people, but the majority of people are getting to understand more of the global standard behavior.
Yes. I agree. I agree. Yeah. And I think, something about China that I think is the most shocking is the lack of the personal bubble. Have you heard of that phrase before, the personal bubble?
Personal bubble? No, actually. Yeah. What does that mean?
Japanese people understand it too. Japanese people have a bigger bubble than Americans. So basically what it means is like a bubble, right? So if you touch a bubble, it'll pop, right? So imagine every single person has a bubble around their body. And the closer you get to them, the bubble will it'll pop. So for Chinese people, the bubble is maybe this small, and you can't even see it. It's like, the size of like a ping pong ball. It's very small. And so you can't really pop the bubble. So if you touch them, if you hit them, if whatever, they won't react. They'll say, oh, okay. Oh, they'll just drink their drink. But if you, in Japan, if you sit next to a person on the metro or the subway, and there's no one in the row, the Japanese person bubble popped and they will move. In America, we have the same idea. It's not as big as a Japan bubble, but in China, there's no bubble. And that was just really hard for me to get used to at first because, I would be standing in line to pay and someone would stand behind me way too close. I could feel them on my neck, Yeah. And so they just don't understand. They don't have a bubble. Their bubble is very small. And so that's something that even today I have to remember, okay, yeah, there's no bubbles. Because at first I thought people were just being very rude. But they're not. They don't have a bubble. It's my culture, not theirs.
Our boundary and their boundaries are different.
Exactly.
Probably that might be one key for understanding them better.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you another question, which is, how do you think we can get closer each other better so that we understand each more?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I think it was Nelson Mandela who said, learn to speak. What did he say? He said something about how you should learn to speak a man's heart language, and then you can speak to him like his heart. And I think that's really the goal for Chinese people. Everyone learns to speak English. And if you make friends and you speak to them in English and Chinese, you can be good friends. But I don't think it's until you can speak to them in Chinese to where you can really become close with them. Because I think Chinese culture, because of the history and everything that goes on, their thoughts and the pattern of how they think, their behavior, their boundaries, it's all in their language.
Yes, very.
And so it's like you become a computer programmer and you learn, okay, it's this one, okay, this one, I understand, yes, this is. And so once you learn the language, you learn the culture at the same time. And especially if you live in China, I think really if you want to learn how to be friends with Chinese people and learn about them, you have to go to China often and learn about them, because there's certain things that, like if I write a book about Osaka, but I never went there, it's not going to be a very good book besides just facts Shinsaibashi, Namba, what, just be random words. But if I live there, I can tell you, just certain things about it and the best coffee shop on this street and, what Osaka people are like and how there are old people that are crazy in Osaka, but they're really fun. You wouldn't know that unless you really live there. And so I think that's how it works for China too. You have to jump inside. You have to go in the water really deep.
Yes.
And I think you have to be very uncomfortable at first to learn how to be comfortable with them and have a connection.
Totally agree. I believe that there are some emotions that we cannot really translate into another language.
Yeah.
We could get closer to describing details, but like when I want to express my very Japanese emotion, using Japanese describes the best.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
And also, Chinese has Changyu, right?
Yeah, lots of Chongqing, yeah.
It can tell you pretty much a lot of information just in 4 words.
Right.
Characters.
Right. That's very true, yeah. I have a friend who loves to talk in Chongqing. And so I had to learn some Chongqing just to be his friend.
And then people tell me that how much Changyu they can use, then they can tell how smart they are.
Yes, that's true. They do say that. I'm not very smart.
So you study in Chongqing and then now you work there, right? So what is your motivation for staying in the country?
Well, it is difficult to find a job that you love in China, I think. I think, especially now after coronavirus, the job situation is not very good. And it's easy to find a bad job. I think it's hard to find a good job. Maybe this is everywhere in the world. But at least in my experience, my motivation to stay in China is kind of my motivation to stay, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I really want to stay. So because I feel like China is my hometown, like Chongqing, I am motivated to stay. And so I just am trying whatever I can. So one thing I really like to do is to show people about China, to talk about China, to let them experience China. And so I hope that my social media can give that gift of what's in my heart and my brain to let people see, so that they'll also be able to experience this, because China blessed me in so many ways, and I want people to experience that too, if they can.
That is why you also started YouTube, right?
Exactly, yes. And one day, maybe China, I'm hoping that one day Chongqing will see my YouTube and say, we want this guy to be the Chongqing representative for foreigners. And we can pick him, and he can show people around and show how great Chongqing is and how fun it is. No politics, just fun.
I think being a pioneer in anything is very good advantage for grabbing something new, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I also understand that being pioneer, doing something that the other people are not doing, sometimes we can be easily feel lonely, but it's very meaningful as well.
Yes. That's very true.
So you are going to continue YouTube to introduce more about your city, Chongqing, and more about China,
Yes. Yeah, I want to travel to other cities and do that as well. But something that I have discovered that America does, that maybe I think Japan does it too, but China doesn't really do very much, is like the small things about a city that make it very special. I don't think China really focuses on that much. It's more about the big, amazing building and the light show and the night, the stuff that you see on YouTube about how Chongqing is amazing. But there's not really many stories about people. And so I want to tell stories about people if I can. I really love to take pictures of doors because doors show you the start of a family, the start of a life. And inside is all the secrets and all of the stories. And so I think that's really interesting. So I would like to create a video and a channel about that. And that's one of my motivations too, is to share people's stories and not necessarily anything special, but just, I think people are special. And so being able to share about people's stories, I think is really interesting.
Yes, I want to hear that too. People's stories are powerful.
Yeah, they are, yeah. And inspiring, and, I think a lot of times we feel alone when we don't talk to enough people. And you have to remember, it's good to talk to somebody who will listen to you. And I think there are people like that out there. You just gotta find the good ones.
So lastly, could you please give the listeners your tips to stay happily in China?
Okay, my number one tip is learn Chinese. If you've already given up, if you don't want to learn Chinese, you will never be happy in China. I really do not believe you can be happy. And number two is stop complaining and start celebrating. So a lot of times we will say, oh, in China today, why does this, why, he, this. If you always think like that, it's really easy to hate something, But if you think to yourself, oh, look at that guy. Oh, look at this. If you turn the bad into something good, or if you just say more good things than bad things, it will make you love it more. Because I've noticed in a lot of my foreign friend groups, and one reason I actually don't like to be friends with foreigners in China is because when foreigners get together in China, it's almost like they have a I hate China party together. And I'm like, we're in China. You can't, I understand no place is perfect, but you can't just talk how it's bad and this, and and they'll talk about, oh, I went to the store and this guy didn't understand me and this lady didn't. I'm like, well, it's because you don't speak Chinese. Of course she didn't understand you. You can't expect someone to understand you. You need to understand them. And so I think that's like the biggest tip I could get is learn Chinese. And remember that it's important to, just think about the good things about the culture and not think about the bad things. And if you're having a really hard time, it's okay. It's gonna get better. It always gets better. It never gets worse. It only gets better. I think that's really true. It just takes time.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I totally agree. And I'm also in college. It's all about having a good attitude in the situation, like no matter what happens to us.
Yes, exactly.
And then the pictures that we can see will be very different, depends on how we see it.
Yeah, that's true. The colors will be bright or they will not be bright, depending on how you look at them, right?
And not everybody can really experience the life in another country or another place. Being there, you are already blessed
I think
enough,
so
I
too.
think. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening. I will keep sharing real stories that show what China is really like. Follow the show and stay tuned. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send me a message. See you next time. 下次见.